practiced by him or during his time and he endorsed it, or he did not order people to do, becomes bid'ah. So if people are making Gamo as a religious practice, as a religious institution, then definitely they will have a problem with the critics of Gamo. I think that's why for those people who reject Gamo, they are taking from the point of Islam as a religion.
As Maulud Nabi is drawing closer, the state broadcaster went out and about to look at how Gamo preparation is faring. Most people who attended this night want to put on new local wares, particularly ladies who have an eye for fanciful wares. This often makes tailors extremely occupied. Here in the city's biggest market, Albert Market, we caught up with some tailors and asked them how business is progressing. Business, according to Aplanjai, Bailo Jalo, and Alaji Mboub, all tailors in the Albert Market, is satisfactory. It's going well with them. They went on, and most of their customers showed new dresses for the occasion. The night is celebrated globally by Muslims, and many prefer to spend it with their kith and kin in diverse destinations. This often leads to congestion at the country's major crossing point, not least the Banjul-Bara ferry crossing point, and in the process, adding more workload on the ferry service. At the Banjul ferry terminal, large number of travelers converge on the terminal, ready to join their family members in different parts of the country. Here, Aissatou Minte, Fatou Seka, Aliou Seka, and Hamadi Sisi, who are all traveling to Senegal, told us that they have spent a number of hours at the terminal waiting to join the ferry to cross on the other side of the river, but they are hoping to reach their destinations in time. When we talk of Gamo preparations, what first comes to the mind is the traditional foods that form a significant feature of the night. The most traditional one, called chere, locally prepared from coos, is consumed by most celebrants. Some went to the extent of saying chere spices up the commemoration, but as you can see, preparations are on across the country. This is how pre-Gamo preparations are like in the country. Uminjai, GRTS.
It was an expedition that took 3 renowned kingfishers to 3 countries for river and beach casting. Norwegian J.R. Sigurdsen edged out his 2 competitors, winning the National Geographic Fishing Exploration. Babakar Senghor reports the adventure will best be remembered for the memorable trips embarked on by the 3, not the least journey to the smiling coast of Africa.
And 3 challenges and 1 winner. And the stage is set for the world's top anglers to pit their weights against each other. They are...
Fighting for the title is Dom Garnett.
Oh, yeah. Threadfin, I got it. That is it.
And finally, Geir Sivertsen, a sports fishing fanatic from Norway.
Fish on.
Nice fish.
And next up, Tony Tabal, a super confident fisherman from the Gambia.
It was an expedition, the like of which don't come often in a lifetime. Tony Tabal, a gamer, has a passion for golf, and a restaurateur, flew to the Arctic together with Englishman Don Garnett to meet up with Geir Sigurdsson, a Viking in the icy waters of Norway. The Gambian kingfisher arrived in Oslo and made known his intentions.
3 days ago I was in Africa, today I'm in the Arctic. This is insane. Game on.
Game on, mate. Yeah,
it's on.
Yeah.
It's on.
The winning mentality was there for all to see. From the Arctic, the 3 gamers went to the United Kingdom, Don's home turf, and still Tony did more than enough to ward off the challenges of his competitors. And the final leg of the journey took the 3 to the serene beauty of the smiling coast of Africa. This was a moment for Tony to sell what is already an attractive proposition for visitors. The homecoming for Tony and colleagues was astonishing.
I couldn't do anything but smile and just enjoy the situation.
Yeah, it was like Tony had, using his own tribe, had sort of thrown down the gauntlet to us. And that was a really nice touch, I thought.
And for the river and beach casting, it was a close call, with Tony scoring the same points as his Arctic rival, with Don earning 10 points. It was an epic journey and a ferociously competitive game. The truth is, the 3 were only competing but exploring the wonder of the world.
Cast far, cast slow, cast close by. Big bait, small bait, nothing happens. Nothing bites. An hour goes by, nothing bites. I'm like, something's really wrong.
The afternoon session was probably one of the most grueling bits of fishing I've done in my life.
It was this long, and I thought, it's a snake. And I was like, almost panicking.
It was a crab.
For Grts News, this is Babukar Senghor.
We'll be back with news from outside the Gambia after this break.
Super Savers. The lowest international call rates ever.
Yes, you heard it. Comium offers you the lowest international tariff ever.
Lower than anywhere else. Comium Super Saver. Only from Comium.
Now is the time to call family and friends all over the world at rates you can definitely afford. Comium brings you the lowest international call rates ever.
Name your country and we got the lowest rates to that destination.
One of the many reasons we say your credit lasts longer with Comium.
Comium. We are better together.
Welcome back. Ugandan special forces are in the South Sudan. That is according to Uganda's military chief of defense staff. General Wamala Katumba said this during a heated session with members of Uganda's Parliament Committee on Defense and Security. But many say the Ugandan Defense Force is actively involved in combat operations in South Sudan, an accusation the army chief denied.
Ugandan parliamentarians demanding an explanation from their government. They are accusing President Museveni of sending Ugandan troops to South Sudan without the parliament's authorization. The conversation is intense. The deputies, some of whom are from the opposition, are saying that the army is engaged in combat in South Sudan. The response of the Ugandan Army Chief of Staff to the Defense and Security Commission is not ambiguous. He says the special forces present in South Sudan are only there to protect and evacuate Ugandan nationals.
That has been done. We have not committed any units in combat. We haven't. And we don't think we'll reach that level. But if our positions where we are being compromised or they are being jeopardized, then we'll respond in the best way we know. But as of now, we have not committed any troops in combat.
These explanations are dismissed by the South Sudanese rebels led by Riek Machar, who is opposing President Salva Kiir. The rebel movement, which is engaged in talks in Addis Ababa, believes Uganda is a threat to a possible truce that would end the fierce fighting underway in South Sudan.
Voters in Egypt are preparing for the latest round of nationwide referendum, the first since the removal from power of Islamist leader Mohamed Morsi. The election comes in the wake of an announcement by military strongman Abdul Fattah al-Sisi of his intention to run for the top office. And in South Africa, President Jacob Zuma has launched his bid for re-election. We have details of those stories and others in this news roundup.
Only 2 days from a referendum on the new constitution in Egypt, head of the army, General Sisi, called on Egyptians to vote yes. The referendum increasingly appears like a test for the country's strongman. He said he would run for president in 2014 if the army backs him. The Electoral Commission in Madagascar announced on Friday temporary results in legislative elections there. Supporters of transition President Ange Razoel have won at least 53 deputy seats in the Malgache Assembly, but this is not enough to obtain an absolute majority of 76 deputies. The party of former President Marc Ravalomanane is so far in second place with about 30 seats. The 60 or so remaining deputy seats could be split amongst smaller parties or independent candidates. Malgache law states that the Prime Minister must come from the majority party in Parliament. Though that is not yet clear, Razoel appears to be the leader. In South Africa, President Jacob Zuma has launched his campaign for the general elections scheduled for this coming spring. Speaking to ANC backers in the eastern city of Bombela, Zuma spoke of hope, even though the economy is flat and unemployment is massive. He promised new measures to fight the corruption crippling the country. Zuma also announced agricultural reforms to fight poverty among rural populations. Even though the ANC is less popular now than 20 years ago, it should still obtain a majority in the elections. A